Hello, everyone, and welcome to another one of our previews of our race. And this one is a special one because this only happens every 4 and sometimes 3 years, and that is the Olympic time trial event. And we've never done a preview of this, so this is going to be interesting. But to discuss everything about the time trial is Patrick Blake of Outdo Cycling. And I mean, Patrick, the Olympics last time were in Tokyo in 2021. We all know that Roglic won that time trial, Dumoulin second, Rowan Dennis, they were all Jumbo-Visma riders. Time trial Olympics, what do you kind of think of?
Yeah, Wiggins back in 2012. Obviously, that was a really cool one. And then like the Rio one, I think it was like Tony Martins and stuff of the world. I remember that really being the time I was getting into cycling. I remember like Castro Viejo came fourth. It was kind of a time where I was really getting into the sport. So I really like the time trial. I think it's a strange, like you said, the last three names that you just said, the three Jumbo-Visma riders of Roglic, Dumoulin, and Dennis. Two of them don't even ride in the peloton anymore, and Roglic isn't here. So there will be no defending podiums or defending wins this time. It's going to be a new Olympic champion in the TT, and especially since the last kind of time, we've got a lot of new talent in the peloton now since there's been the last TT Olympic Championships. So we're going to have a big fight on our hands. We've got some of the best time trialists in the peloton fighting for victory here. And I think it's going to be a really interesting battle to see who's going to come out on top.
I mean, I have to put this in as well. 2016, since you brought it up, that was the last ever race of Fabian Cancellara's career, and he wins the time trial. That was a pretty badass move to finish your career like that. But I mean, Patrick, what does the route look like for the riders? They're not in Tokyo, they're not in Rio, they're not in London, they are in Paris.
We are in Paris, and therefore we have quite a flat route on the cards. Just very little elevation gain, and actually quite a shorter TT for such a big event. Usually, you see at the Olympics or comparatively kind of World Championships, you see a lot of longer time trials edging towards an hour, but this one is 33.4 kilometers long. It's not overly difficult. It's not overly technical. There's lots of long stretches of road where you're going to see the big powerhouse riders really making a difference. Interestingly enough, for this time around, although we're not previewing it, the men's and the women's courses are exactly the same and they have exactly the same number of starters. It seems to be a thing which the Olympics is wanting to do this year. They have the same sort of thing for the road race as well. They have the same number of starters. So it'll be interesting to see kind of the comparison of the men versus women on it as well. It feels like the Olympics is really trying to have that comparison there. Is sort of like in athletics you have set distances and men and women's. I think the Olympics is wanting to try and have a sense of kind of uniformity to the TT, but it's a very untechnical TT, big power course, very little elevation gain. So it is going to be one for the pure TT specialist for sure.
Well, we might as well. Well, we can't talk about the defending champion, Primoz Roglic, because he is not the only rider that is starting for Slovenia. We were talking about this before, Patrick. We don't really understand the system because Great Britain have three, and most other teams have either two or one. But Slovenia bringing Jan Tratnik. I think the place to look is the newly crowned white jersey, the world champion, Remco Evenepoel and Wout van Aert, that Belgian duo that we've seen so many times before at World Championships.
Yeah, I mean, Evenepoel's just done a fantastic Tour de France. He won the first time trial. He came third in the last one, although the last one was arguably less to his sort of style. It was more hilly and more suited towards his opponents who did better that day. Evenepoel is, although slightly smaller in stature, he is just an absolute aero bullet. Like he just goes unbelievably quickly on the TTs. And he is the reigning world champion. He won last time in Glasgow in 2023. He is incredibly good at doing well in the TTs and like bigger time events. In the 2022 World Championships, he was third, and the year before that in the World Championships, he was also third, and third in the European Championships. He is a guy who always finishes pretty much guaranteed on the podium of big time events in the TTs. And this is exactly one of those. It's one which Evenepoel will be very much targeting. After all, he's very much buoyed by the fact that he's just finished third in the Tour. He's done a fantastic performance there. Although the only downside is that the Tour finished on the Sunday, and therefore he only has 6 days recovery time before he is going to be starting off doing this effort, in comparison to some of his other rivals that we'll be talking about, who have been specifically targeting this event, might be a little bit fresher going into it.
And you didn't think Wout van Aert deserves any chance after his Tour de France was a bit below par for him. But
Yeah, it,
context, injuries, blah, 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 blah.
yeah. Wout van Aert didn't have the greatest Tour de France in comparison to how he's done in the past. He is a very good time trialist. He has finished on the podium of these big time kind of world championship time trials before as well. And he can never really be counted out. Wout van Aert is the thing. He is a sensational talent, but it's a bit unknown as to how he's going to go. I saw that he said that he took the final time trial in the Tour de France easier, so that it was a kind of relative rest day in air quotes, so that he has a bit better recovery going into the TT and the Olympics on the Saturday. So maybe that will pay due diligence, or maybe it won't. But Belgium have two big contenders for the podium, if not possibly the win.
Yeah, we'll get into predictions soon enough. I mean, the man you're probably alluding to is the young European champion, Josh Tarling. Seems like he's the next big time trialing machine to come out of the UK. Such a rich history that we've spoken about before. They are bringing other people as well, two other people, Ethan Hayter and who was the other one? Fred Wright. Who unfortunately didn't finish the Tour de France. But yeah, Patrick, Josh Tarling, discuss.
He is unbelievably good, isn't he? He really burst onto the scene last year on like the kind of world tour rankings. He's only 20 years old, which is just crazy to think, but that is the way that the sport and well, our sport and other sports seem to be going, is that these younger talents just seem to be dominating. Tarling is the European champion. He finished third place in the World Championships last year, which was one of the biggest surprises because he has never really done a TT of that length. He is probably the best shot that Great Britain have of getting a medal in, dare I say, kind of the road kind of style events, not the velodrome, but I'd say that Tarling is GB's best hope of getting a medal in the road race slash TT events. And I think there's a little bit of pressure on him, but he is a part of the Ineos Grenadiers get up, and they are, they're a team which focuses a lot on aerodynamics, a lot on their time trialing performances. So Tarling has all of the machinery, all the equipment, and all the knowledge around him to really do a good result. And I think there is rightfully so quite a lot of hype around him to try and get a really good result here.
Yeah, this year hasn't really been too many time trials for him. If we were thinking about that, there was the Au Grand Camino time trial where he, I mean, beat Jonas Vingegaard, but that was, of course, neutralized that time trial, but he still got the win. The team time trial around Paris-Nice, but that's team time trial. That should be an event in itself, but I won't go further into that here. That could be a whole video in itself. And then he was at the Dauphiné where Remco Evenepoel put 17 seconds into him over a 34.4 kilometer course that was a bit hillier than what this is. What you said as well, I don't really think we can add any more than that. And yeah, I agree. I think he is probably the best chance of any medal. Yeah, silver, gold, bronze. I think he's a shoe-in, let's be honest. And maybe he wins it in 4 years if he doesn't win it here. But speaking of Ineos Grenadiers and riders at the time trial, Filippo Ganna, of course, the man who broke the hearts of every Danish cycling fan when he ruined the team pursuit for us in the final, but he didn't win the medal in the time trial. So in your face, Ganna. Uh, yeah, what do you think of Ganna's chances? He's had up and down in the last few seasons, I would say, in the time trial discipline. And you were there when he didn't win the title in Glasgow as well.
Yeah, I was up there on that last climb
Oh,
seeing.
wait, it wasn't Glasgow, was it? It was somewhere outside, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, sorry, it was Stirling, actually. It was going up to Stirling Castle. That's where I was. I saw him overtake Pogacar, which just go to show how sensational Ganna is. I would dare to say that Ganna is the favourite for this, given that it is the Olympics. He is coming in for mainly the track, let's face it. So he is going to be in flying form like he has to be, like you were saying. He's part of our team pursuit team. He has to be in good form here, and therefore he is bound to do a good time trial here. Given that Evenepoel, one of the biggest rivals that he has just done a 3 week Grand Tour, he is going to be feeling that to some extent, whereas Ganna is probably coming in a bit more kind of fresh as a daisy. And similarly, Tarling, who we just talked about, has also had a bit of a less fatigued running. But I would say that Ganna is the favourite for this race. He is the Italian champion. He's been the world champion 2 times. He's won so many TTs. You're going to need like about 4 hands to count them all up on. He's ridiculously good. He's ridiculously strong. And similar to Tarling, he's got that Ineos Grenadiers knowledge and backing to really optimize his aerodynamics. So I think Ganna's the man to beat. Do you think that's fair, or do you think that maybe
I think Remco's gonna take it.
you think Remco?
Yeah, the what is it they say? These flying legs you get after the tour, that kind of thing. We've seen it with the Vuelta a España, the World Championships. A Roglic, I mean, it was a bit of a different context with the Olympics in Japan because it was on the other side of the globe. So yeah, it being in Paris, it's just a 6 hour train ride if you're taking the train. Yeah, but we'll get into that. There's some other teams I also want to just touch on as well. Derek G, he's, well, just touching on other people. Derek G, Ryan Mullen for Canada and Ireland, Germany, Pollitt and Maximilian Schachmann. Norway are bringing Søren Varensholt and Tobias Foss, the former world champion. But Switzerland and America, that's the two I was going to try and tempt you with. What do you think of them, Patrick? And who are in the teams?
Well, you've tempted me, and I've bitten because I think that Switzerland is a very strong outfit. We've got the two Stefans, Stefan Bissiger and Stefan Kung, both of them incredible time trialists. Both of them have been European champions in the past, but neither of them have been a world champion. Neither of them have been an Olympic champion. But Stefan Kung has this crazy ability to do incredibly good on these kind of high stakes TTs. Like when you look back at his performances over longer TTs, especially when we get over 30 kilometers, he seems to do better and better. Yeah, Kung just seems to do really well with TTs on a big scale. I'd say that Stefan Bissiger, less likely so. He seems to be the expert of TTs, which are like 20 Ks or less, but sadly, this one is over 30 kilometers. So I expect less from Stefan Bissiger than I do from Stefan Kung. But moving on to United States, Brandon McNulty and Magnus Sheffield, I would say these could be two of the biggest surprises in this event. You got Magnus Sheffield, who, again, Ineos Grenadiers rider, bit of a theme here. They end up being really good time trialists. And Brandon McNulty, part of UAE Team Emirates, that's the team which Tadej Pogacar is a part of. Obviously, very, very good at time trialing as well. You've seen them really step up in the last 2 years, their time trialing ability, mainly to help Pogacar win the tour, but that filters down to other members of the team. McNulty is the USA champion. He won a TT in Tour of Romandy, I want to say, earlier this year. He is a very strong time trialist. And I think that him and Sheffield have a great shot of probably both finishing inside the top 10. But what do you reckon about, Switzerland and US, Scott? Do you
4-5 for the two Stefans. I don't know which one. I mean, Stefan Krung missed out on the medals last time in Tokyo. And I think the Americans are just wild cards. Anything could happen, really. Both of them are fantastic time trialists, but it's just if you get it right that yeah, I think they're going to be dark horses, but a very interesting team to follow. But yeah, I'm also a big fan of the Stefans, but it's just been a shame that they haven't really, yeah, the World Championships, like you said. And maybe it'll come here. Maybe it'll come here. In terms of other riders, Binyam Gamai is going to be doing the time trial as well. Rumors are he's going to be the flag bearer for Eritrea, so let's hope that's a thing. Kevin Vauclain as well. You're a very big fan of him. He's won a time trial this year on French soil. Does that mean he's going to win another one?
I mean, it could be. I think that he is flying the French flag. I'm glad to see it. He is probably the best shot they've got of getting a decent
Bruno
result in this
Marais.
race.
Bruno Marais, the French national champion, is very disagreeing with you right now.
Nah, no way. No way. I'd take Kevin all day over Bruno Marais personally, just based upon also Kevin Coquelin won a stage of the Tour de France this year, so I just consider that Kevin's in better form.
in Italy. Does that count?
He won it in Italy. To be fair, yeah, maybe his luck's run out at this point, but I mean, you got loads of other contenders here. Plapp for Australia.
No,
Uh,
we can't do this. We always fall into this trap of Platt being an amazing time trialist, and he always disappoints us.
no, he's fine. He'll come like 11th. It's fine. Excited about Matthias Vacek, obviously of Lidl Trek. He has done some really good TTs this year. Won in the Bauhaus Belgium Tour. He is the Czech champion as well. Very young rider at 22 years old, but he seems to have really taken a step up this year. And I do think that Vacek could be an interesting name to watch out for. I do think that he could be a top 10 candidate in this race. So that's another name to be watching out for. But what about your Danes? We haven't even really spoken about them. You're not too excited about Skelmoser and Bjerg?
No, don't worry. When we do the road race, I'll be all over the Danish team. But
Okay.
Mikkel Bjerg and Skjelmose, we don't have these big. Okay, Mikkel Bjerg has won a time trial before in the Dauphiné, but I think he's got honestly no chance against Ghana, Remco, Tarling. So yeah, sorry Denmark, I'm going to be very disloyal here, and yeah, I'll save my praises for the road race. But Patrick, there's one guy that you haven't spoken about, who you are the official president of the Yorkshire chapter for the fan club. Lawrence Pithy's here as well. He's not a great time trialist, but he's here.
That's very true. There's him and Corbin Strong. To be fair, Piffy,
They've got more people than France.
yeah, I don't, I don't really understand. I also with the whole Olympics, track thing. I don't get why Aaron Gate isn't doing this one as well because he is doing like the Madison and stuff like that. So I really don't understand this Olympic rules. But yeah, Piffy, I'm a big fan of, but I don't really think much will come from a TT from him. But certainly one to watch out for in the road race.
Well, we might as well come to our favorite part of the show, the predictions. And this is an important one because everyone on the podium gets a medal. Actually, it's not just us saying a medal. This is a medal.
It's really important. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm gonna keep it simple. I think.
That means boring.
I mean, it does mean boring, but I think third place will be Evenepoel, second place will be Tarling, and first place will be Ganna.
I mean, yeah, it's
It's kind of those three names, isn't it?
yeah, just different order.
I
Okay.
part of me
Okay,
thinks
we'll do a
maybe.
dark horse as well. We'll
Oh,
do like
okay, cool,
so
cool.
you can have one whatever Joker and he could finish anywhere on the podium, but at least you mentioned their name. Okay, I'm gonna say third place, Filippo Ganna. Second place, Remco Evenepoel, despite backing him, and Josh Tarling is gonna be the Olympic champion at only 20 years old.
Really? I mean,
Well, I was just gonna say because I wanted like slightly I wanted no similar ones to you in the
okay,
podium.
fair enough. Um,
Dark horse, Joker card. Who's your Joker card?
McNulty.
That's quite a good Joker.
I think McNulty could, in my prediction, I think McNulty could pip Evenepoel, but it depends on how Evenepoel is recovered from the tour. That's my only concern.
My wild card or my Joker is Atleti Lutsenko. I'm joking. Sorry, Alexi. This isn't the Echelon Cycling podcast. There's no fan favorites here for you. Binyam Gamai is here, and he is a podcast favorite over the Cycling Lane podcast. So, but even I don't think Binyam's gonna win this. My Joker is gonna be screw it, Kevin Vauclan. I think being a home favorite is gonna give him an extra boost. I could have said one of the Stefans, but that was too easy.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'll rate that. Go for the full French tricolore.
But anyways, that's basically it for this Olympics podcast, our first one ever. And we will, of course, do the road race as well. And Patrick, are you doing one on the outdoor cycling?
Oh yes, there will be a fantasy game for the Olympics. Very excited about that. It's going to be a trickier one because there's fewer people in it, but yeah, I will definitely be doing a video.
So look out for that and check his channel out in the description below. And the Echelon Cycling podcast will be back after its hiatus. But enough of that now. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.